with the sheer jihad. Here's Jawan Gary in the paint. The running hook drops.
Well, Amir Ali has got to give a little more resistance right there. Just a simple isolation to 10 on threes off the bounce this season. Catch and shoot off the bounce doesn't matter.
Gary on the drive, trying to slither to the rim, and there's Morgan to clean it up.
Sean Phillips comes over to help on the Gary drive, and Nebraska fighting back in this one. The crowd. Good cut.
Gary with the finish at the rim.
It's just that continuity offense. You're swinging it from side to side. Continuity pick and roll. Jawan Gary is cutting through. Arizona State loses track, and that pass over the top is right there.
You talk about continuity offense. How much of it has to do with the continuity of the guys on the floor?
There's no question. Just because Nebraska has their entire team, and if you're Arizona State, you don't have Joe Sansanen, you don't have Jaden Quaintance, you're down 2 of your top 5 guys.
For the Huskers.
You have to think for Connor Esigian. A tough one against Iowa last game of the year. Good for him to get back out here and see some shots go down.
Here's Williams. Contested jumper in the paint is good.
Nebraska settling in here. They're going to have opportunities in the paint. I know that's a great look from 3. Go under on Williams. He can make you pay for it.
Houston Gel will drop it off to Gary as the Huskers set up. Gary going to work against Ali to the rim for 2.
Boy, he just kind of threw that crossover dribble out there to his left hand.
Halfway through this first half, Williams steps into the 3 and hits.
He looks so comfortable out there, just sizing up jihad. It's like he's playing horse. I mean, he looks like a guy right now that's settled in, and with the long break, Bryce Williams still getting buckets.
Over 21 points a game the last 15, but again, a breakdown defensively for Nebraska. Williams, 5 to shoot, steps back for 3. Nothing going on that possession, and it ends up with 3.
With no Phillips, certainly the glass going to be a weakness now.
And inside, Buchtengel can't connect, gets his own miss and puts it back in. What'd you say about the glass?
It is no coincidence that Phillips goes to the bench with 2 fouls, and Nebraska has a possession where there are multiple offensive rebounds.
Now 5 for the game for Nebraska. Mason. Jumper is true.
Well, if Sam Hoiberg doesn't get over that screen and Nebraska's in the drop.
And we've talked about it as well with their pick and roll defense. It's not been particularly sharp through this first half. Here's Mason at the free throw line. The jumper rolls home. Good shot.
Oh, yeah, Sam Hoiberg can't guard that any better.
No, Ali. Jihad gets to that mid-range jumper and hits.
But there's just really not much resistance there. I think Cale Jacobson is playing the 5 right now for Nebraska.
As one would do. Inside, Jihad waiting for traffic to clear, count the bucket and the foul. And it makes sense. He's the biggest guy on the floor.
Tremendous recognition there by Arizona State. With Nebraska going as small as they are, get to that paint, dribble, drive, dish it off, and just let Jihad use his size at the rim.
Huskers haven't hit a field goal in almost 3.5 minutes. Hoiberg on the drive. He'll change that.
Well, I love the play, though, because Jacobson is screening his own man.
Williams got to get something going. Contested 3 for Williams is short. Miller with a rebound. Quick push ahead. Best to the rim. Challenging Hoiberg. He hits the 2. Largest lead for Arizona State. Halftime heave is off. And the Sun Devils close the half on a 14-4 run and lead by 8. Back it goes to Bryce Williams. He's been the offense for the Huskers as usual. He's got 16.
Oh, Phillips could have been offensive foul.
Man, he had that arm out. Fred Hoiberg thought it should be, and then they work it inside for 2. I'm stunned Phillips didn't get called.
You extend that off.
Now a deep 3 for Miller.
Playing with fire. He's got range. Up the floor now.
Here's Gary to the rim with a one-hand hammer.
Well, Nebraska's defense trying to jumpstart their offense. They get a stop here. You're looking up the floor. Jawan Gary leaking.
And now a turnover. Mason bounced it right to Jacobson. And now a hit to Gary. That's Gary. Not going to worry about that one.
Cale Jacobson putting that where only Jawan Gary could get it. They're there. Jawan Gary running the floor. Nebraska taking advantage, playing with it.
Exactly.
It's got to be a different dynamic than what the rest of us faced.
You notice Sean Phillips back out there on the floor. They put the big man back there and get him involved immediately. Oh, punishing the rim.
Well, with him off the floor, you just don't have that. But you're going to see Phillips is just going to roll right here to the rim. You got a breakdown. Here comes the other ball screen. There's nobody coming over. That's Bryce Williams.
Nebraska looking for the lead.
Numbers. Oh, what a play.
Taken away. Mason to the rim for two, and a chance for one more at the line.
That's one of those massive swings right there. Nebraska has every bit of momentum possible. You get a stop, you're getting out to run, you got to...
Huskers have made 8 of their last 10, and it ends up fortuitously in the hands of Esijan with a corner three.
It's one of those plays that can flip a game.
Here on this trip. And to shoot, back to Esijan. Steps in for the mid-range jumper, and Nebraska's in front. Ball not free. Hoiberg comes back to get it. Shot clock's at 4. It didn't reset. Esijan takes it to the rim for 2. Connor Esijan's been the difference in the second half for Nebraska. Miller looking. Lost it on the way in. Gary pushing ahead to Hoiberg. Hoiberg back to Gary. Bournemouth rim run and 2 more. Timeout, Arizona State.
Adam Miller trying to get downhill. Well, that looks like Jacobson got a lot of ball right here. Nebraska getting out and running. Sam Hoiberg giving it up, and Jawan Gary getting it done. The corner.
Back to Hoiberg for 3, and Hoiberg rains one down. And Nebraska rolling up 10.
Getting the penetration. You lose track of Hoiberg here. Hoiberg does a great job of relocating towards the top of the key. Nebraska bench loving it. This has been a 13
for the Big Red. Picked up on the switch now by Ali. Up and under to the rim. How about the 18th game this year for Bryce Williams with 20 points or more?
That's a 5th-year senior going up against a true freshman. And just the way Ali got knocked back right there, he doesn't have an answer for the physicality that Bryce Williams is bringing.
Mason fading away. Makes it a 34-16 run for Nebraska to turn this around in the second half.
I think Arizona State, this can't be token pressure. They've got to try to heat the ball up and force some turnovers.
Here's Esijan, though, gets past his man. Ali wanted to get the foul. He'll take the 2 instead.
Connor Esijan just living at the rim in the second half here. He's made some threes, too, but I think that's his 3rd layup. Don't see that all that often for him.
He almost had an alley-oop if he were about 9 feet tall. Inside, Miller for 2. Comes Esijan to get it. Trapped in that corner, needs a little help and finds it from Hoiberg. Lob ahead to Williams. Williams with the exclamation point for Nebraska. 8 seconds as Mason launches the 3. Rebound tapped into the hands of Miller. That 2 will count, but 3 seconds to go. And a 30-point night for Bryce Williams ends it for the Huskers.